Right, folks, this is episode 6. I've absolutely loved every single episode. I've loved all the support that I've got, all the views, all the likes, all the comments, been absolutely amazing. And obviously, most importantly, it's been the people who have come on for each episode has been great. And today, I can't wait to get straight into this because this is not a top class episode ahead. So, like I always do, don't mess around, just go straight in. And the floor is yours, mate. Just little introduction about who you are, what you do, and then I always ask why. So why are you doing
Yeah,
what you do? So work away, off you go.
no worries, man. Thanks for having me on as well. So I'm Joseph. I'm based in England, southeast of England, Kent to be specific. I'm just a football coach. I've been coaching for about 3 years now, I believe. No, about 3 to 4 years now. Um, yeah, so I do coaching for teams as well. So I coach teams, and I also do have a one-to-one business where I have like one-to-one private coaching or small group coaching stuff as well. And why do I do it? I love it, man. I love it. It's something I've always wanted to do, man. I just love it. Like, why else do we do this? What? There's nothing else that's going to keep me outside in the cold if I didn't love it. So, yeah, man. That's that.
Brilliant. No, I think that's excellent. There, once you love what you do,
Yeah.
that's absolutely sick. So just to touch on your one-on-one business, look, I obviously know, but so you're wearing your own little
Yeah,
logo
yeah,
on
yeah.
your thing. So yeah, so just talk to me and talk to everybody. Tell them what it's called, and sort of how it all came about.
Okay, so it's called School of Elites. Just a one-to-one private coaching business. That's just something that I set up. And how it came about. So this was around this time last year. So right now we're in March. So it was around April time last year. And when I was doing my UEFA C license. So I started my UEFA C. And whilst I was on the course, obviously there's other coaches from like other places that you meet. You just kind of just bounce off ideas. And then there's two people in particular. So one of them is called Brett. He has a business called Kent Goalkeeping Academy. So I'm always going to shout him out if you check him out. So he was just telling me about his journey and how he has his own like one-to-one and group coaching business, but he just does goalkeeper coaching. And he kind of inspired me because he said that, yeah, like he does it full time. He had a job previously, and now he does this. It's his passion. And he was really successful at it. And then there's another guy as well called Alfie. We'll get into Alfie in a bit because that's kind of the reason how me and you even met each other.
Yeah, yeah.
But I also met Alfie as well on the same course. And then he said he does a couple one-to-ones as well. And at this point, it's only when I met them that I had the idea. So around literally, let's say this time last year, in March, I hadn't even had the idea. I didn't even think about it. But when I met them and I was kind of like bouncing off their ideas and like we were speaking about it, it made me think, okay, cool. And Brett only does it with goalkeepers. And then they kind of just said, yeah, why not? You should get into it. Like, kind of gave me a lot of ideas, like just giving me tips. And yeah, so then I think a few months down the line, I had to just kind of think of a name. So I thought of School of Elites because I don't know, just you want to be elite, right? It's a good word, I guess, football. And
Yeah,
then
nice.
I went through the process getting my logo designed, and then I just kind of put the word out there. I finished my UEFA C, so I started it around I want to say July. I started. I want to say July or August. I don't really remember, but
Yeah.
and I kind of just at first thought, okay, how do I really start this? I want to coach. How do I get clients? And then I kind of just reached out to like some like family friends and stuff that I know have like kids because I figured it's quite a lot easier to kind of get kids, parents with kids who want to learn football as opposed to getting adults. Whereas I'm open to coaching. I have experience coaching all ages, men, women as well. I have experience of all, but it's a
Yeah.
bit easier, not even just easier, but I wanted to get started. So I reached out to some people and then I had one person that I know said, okay, cool, he's interested. He'll bring his son down. So I started with him, had a session, cool. And then the same guy, Brett, basically, even before this, he gave me a full, like, he wrote down paragraphs, gave me a full breakdown, how to get started, what you should buy, get it all sorted out, everything. And then he gave my number to someone, and that they brought their son to me. That was like, those were like my first clients. So Brett, again, was very instrumental in this. And then even from that first client, that brought me second client. and then my number just kept getting passed along. And then I had my Instagram set up, and then since then, I've kind of just had people messaging me. It's kind of grown now. Like I've just been uploading some videos, and I'm not too consistent on social media, but I've had people messaging me just stuff like that. And one thing that I do as well, because in my area specifically, so I won't just say them. I also have another friend as well, who's based in Scotland. His brand is called TSP Coaching, Total Soccer Pro Coaching, I believe. But TSP Coaching, he does it one to ones up in Glasgow. And so he was also giving me loads of ideas as well. So just to shout him out as well. And one thing for me, because my friend in Scotland said that he has goals or like AstroTurf facilities. They give him like discounts to his one to ones. But I had said in my area, they don't do that. They're only going to really charge like 40, £50 for an hour to use the facility. And then I'm going to have to charge the people like for the session. Business is going to be difficult. What am I going to do in the winter when it gets dark really early? So Brett just told me just buy lights. He said, yeah, he bought some floodlights and business carries on. And I can just use a free field whereby it's cheaper for everybody, all the clients that come in. And also for me as well, the logistics of it is just easier. I just find a nice field space. So I invested in some lights. And throughout the whole of winter, I'm glad the weather's getting good now. Just bought some rechargeable like wireless lights. So I just charge them up. Throughout the winter months, I'm outside with my lights on, got the clients kill rolling in. And I think that also helps because otherwise clients would have to be paying like £80 for a session. Whereas with me, you're just going to pay for the session, not the pitch and the session. And then obviously along the lines, I'd also met you as well. And then you also played a big part in helping me get some people because you randomly one morning decided to invest in my company and invest in promotion, which now got me quite a bit more followers. And then from there, I kind of got more followers and then more clients started messaging in. So there's been a lot of people like close to me that have been instrumental in helping with this. But just to name like the football people, yeah,
Brilliant. And just something I wanted to touch on, and you said in the middle of that, how important do you think it was for you to have like a mentor figure in there? Because you talk about how, so Brett's his name, yeah?
yeah, Brett.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, you talk about him. How important do you think that is to have some kind of mentor figure? Because I know a lot of people try and do stuff by themselves.
Mm,
They don't really have, maybe they might not have all the knowledge. And
yeah.
sort of how much of an impact did he have on maybe helping you avoid, say, a load of mistakes that you could have made along the journey to where you are now?
Yeah, really helpful. Like I said, he wrote down like large paragraphs of a total breakdown. Like this is what you need. This is links to get good equipment. This is like the type of form. Get consent forms. Get the insurance. And especially, for example, when the winter months were coming and it's dark by like 3:30 p.m., it was also very inspirational to keep you going because I know that, okay, I'm also out here. I've just got these lights on and I'm coaching people one to one. Someone else is also doing the same. They're not just going to give up because it's very easy to say, oh, okay, it's dark now. I kind of want to use like a 3G facility of lights, but where we are, the facilities, they're not that accessible. I'm just going to stop for the next couple of months. But obviously, having that person that was kind of like, okay, yeah, you can just do it this way, just helps with a bit of innovation and motivation to just be consistent. And like I said, it's still, I mean, it's 6:30, still quite bright outside. So we made it here, thankfully.
Deadly, deadly. All right. So then just tell the people sort of because I know you kind of already mentioned it, but just how we know each other and where we met because it was it October? Yeah, I think it was
October, yeah.
October of last year. Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah, yeah.
you work away.
That's where Alfie comes into it. So whilst I was doing my UEFA um, Alfie was speaking about he did a coaching course thing in with Ajax in Amsterdam. And I'll be honest, I wasn't really. I thought it was just like he's just saying some random thing, like it's just at Ajax. But I think it was on the last block of the UEFA, just so the last time I really saw him, and that we spoke more in depth about it. And then I really started to consider it then, which was the Ajax coaching a coaching academy international seminar. So, and the thing is, what really made me say, okay, I'm actually going to go to this thing is because Alfie ended up getting a job for Ajax. So he works for Ajax now as a youth coach. And so I thought to myself, okay, I'm just going to go and do this because why not? It's a great experience and it's good to meet loads of people. So yeah, that was in October. I went to the international seminar and obviously that's where I met you. We were on the same course block. And yeah, that was it, man. Really, it was a really, really good experience. Probably one of the best experiences. Kind of got the ins and outs and felt like the professional football coaching environment. So it was
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, actually, can I ask, right? Because I think we're talking about the same guy, but is Alfie out in Dubai now?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's it.
Because I only messaged him about a month ago,
Okay,
and
yeah,
I actually I didn't realize that you knew him. I just knew he coached with Ajax, but it's
yeah.
so funny. Like I always say, when you get talking to people, you never know who knows who. I know maybe I might have seen your name when I followed him, but I just saw he was coaching with Ajax, and I was like, well, let's go meet. But it's just mad. Like I encourage people all the time to go to these seminars, go to these whatever conferences, even have chats and stuff,
Yeah.
because you never know who you can meet. But oh, that's crazy. Right, moving on. The next thing I want to ask is talk to me about like, do you have any massive goals in life? Like I'm talking, like I like everyone to go as big as they can, or as go as broad as they want as well. But do you have any massive goals
In, t-
in your life?
in
Well,
terms
it
of
could be in
like
terms
just
of
football
football,
career,
family,
anything,
anything.
yeah. Massive goals in life. So I want to have a happy, stable marriage, functioning marriage, and have a nice, happy, stable, functioning family. So happy marriage, happy family. Own my own home, obviously. Want to own my own home. Um, then moving into like career, I want to be professional in what I do. There are a few things that are kind of in the works that I don't want to mention just yet, but obviously
No,
I
no,
want
that's fine.
to.
That's fine.
But obviously, just to say the least, I want to be at the highest level of like professional football, as high as I can get as a coach.
Yeah.
So career wise, there's that, and I want to just have my own legacy in terms of building something, building opportunities for people through football as well. So yeah, I'd say that. Obviously, I want to have a happy, long-lasting marriage, family life, long-lasting, successful career to the highest level possible, and have a long-lasting legacy where I've made positive impact to many people in the world.
Super. Honestly, I love that, and I think that's something as well that I'm really really focusing on. But how much importance, say, in your day-to-day life, like with what you do, how you act, how you sort of talk to people, how much of that is sort of going towards working on your legacy every single day? Because like your legacy isn't just what you do today. It's what you do tomorrow as well. And are you consistent? And then even at the end of the week, and then with the consistency, like I say all the time, then over the next 5, 10, 40 years, then you create a legacy. But how important are like the actions that you do every single day to create that positive legacy, not a negative one anyway.
Yeah, yeah. So I think one of the things that influences me in this is so I'm a Christian as well, and I think obviously loving thy neighbor, right? We all know what that is, and there's a turning point in my life in which I just want to be as much of a blessing to people as possible because ultimately you'll get blessings come your way. And I'm not doing it for the blessings to come my way, but living as a Christian and, you know, trying to live based on through what the Bible tells us how to live by is all about just, trying to be a blessing to others, right? Being as much of a blessing you can be to others, helping others in whatever ways you can. And so every day I try to embody that in just my everyday interactions. It could be, and it's a weird one, but I like to think quite deeply about random little things. Like you wouldn't think this, and people always say it, but you never know how much holding the door open for someone could impact their day.
Oh yeah.
So every day I wake up and I just think to myself, okay, how can I be better today? And how can I be good to those around me today as best as I can? And obviously it's not easy. It's never easy. It's actually I think that is the biggest challenge in life in itself because in try there's so much going on anyway. I would have so much going on for myself. I'm busy for myself. However, I just try to carry a positive energy around me and try to be as good to those people as to every person around me directly, even indirectly. So I think that's what it is. And I think ultimately when you do that, you grow your legacy because even if the impact doesn't have to be large or look large, a small impact directly between one person that you can interact with. So for example, even if I have, let's say, one client, right, and I'm coaching them and they've grown in a little bit of confidence, that one interaction could make them have an impact on somebody else and help somebody else. And you never know where that can go across. And it's not easy, but start small and just do whatever you can possible. So, yeah.
No, I love that little sort of analogy because I think that like positive impact is like a domino effect that obviously one, it could not only affect the person that you're
Yeah.
talking to or coaching, but it could also affect multiple people, or even if it is just affecting one person, it could affect them positively for
Mm,
a week, for 2 weeks, all just because you decided to say whatever, well done, or your technique has gotten better on this, or even with me recently, I ended up finding out there was a guy in the gym that I was in who had to go through a really mad brain operation, and
yeah.
he was slowly coming back, doing more and more. And I just went up to him and said, "Look, like it's unbelievable to see you in here after knowing what you went through." And he was just that part of me just going up and saying, "Look, like well done." Two little simple words. Obviously, like you said, it's a lot
Yeah.
harder for people to do than it is. But those two simple words changed his day, changed his whatever that time when he was in the gym so much. So the positive impact is brilliant, and that sort of
Mm.
leads me on to the next question. Was was that ever a challenge for you to go up and just like and I've even started doing it as well, but saying going up to someone who you don't really know, like a new
Mm.
kid comes in, you don't really know, and was it a bit of a challenge for you to go up and say compliment someone who you don't know, or how easy has that come?
In general, like not even just the kids in general, like growing up, it's funny. I don't know the perception you had of me when we first met, but I've actually in the past, like, and even till now, to a certain extent, but I'm a lot better now. I've actually had confidence issues, so I do get a bit anxious around new people sometimes. Even though these days, I think a lot of things have changed and helped that. So yeah, there's been a lot of struggles where even if I want to just go and like wish someone well, I get a bit anxious. I think, am I going to bother them or little things like that. And so that's one of the big challenges. Obviously, I think I'm doing quite well these days. I'm quite open and quite talkative to new people in certain environments. But yeah, it was a struggle because I used to get anxious and like have quite low confidence around environments where I'm not, let's say, best friends with everybody already. So
No,
yeah,
brilliant, and I'm the exact same. Honestly, like when I was a kid, I wouldn't have had that same level of confidence that I had now to just to say go into a group and start speaking, or even even like when I played football growing up, I would have never been the one to have done all the speaking. I would have just sort of left that to the side. But I think it's brilliant that the likes of me and you can slowly learn, slowly develop, and slowly build their own confidence. And stuff like this is a lot easier to do.
yeah, it's good.
But yeah, so you sort of talked about a couple of challenges growing up. What sort of what sort of future challenges do you see, say between now? Look, obviously you have your mind, but say like just over the next year. So for the next 9 months until the end of 2025, what potential challenges do you think you might come up against for the next 9 months?
Is that in terms of career, like football and coaching and
Yeah,
stuff?
yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, it could be anything, but like,
Um,
obviously, if you want to just go talk about your coaching business, do you think there's going to be
yeah,
obstacles?
I think not even just in terms of the coaching business, just in terms of coaching in general. Because, for example, I'll share a quick story even, right? So, and it's funny. I'll start off with another Bible verse. It's Proverbs 16:9. A man's heart plans his way, but the Lord directs his steps. So when I did my UEFA C, obviously after COVID there was a massive backlog, and so a lot of people are applying for the courses. And in England, it's kind of terrible. Like they don't run them that often as like other places, and it's a lot more expensive here, right? So for about 2 3 years, I kept applying and I kept getting rejected. And when you apply, I think it was 600 at the time, and I'm willing to pay the 600, and I write the personal statement of why I should be accepted to the course, and I kept getting rejected. Now, there was a day that so there was a day that I just went online and I saw that they have a fully funded option by the FA. And I just thought, okay, let me just apply for this randomly. Because I've been getting rejected, so what's there to lose now, right? And obviously in the personal statement you have to write why you feel as if you should be accepted for a funded place. And I didn't lie or anything. I kind of spoke from the heart because I felt as though, especially in the area that I'm in, grew up in, and just in general, right? I feel like ethnically as well, being a black coach, we're very underrepresented. Like we don't have much representation. We have a lot of social economic disadvantages, so it makes it harder. And just in general, in that environment, because there isn't much representation or successful representation, we don't get taken as seriously. So lo and behold, after years of applying, when I'm willing to pay and get rejected, I was accepted onto my UEFA coaching license for free, fully funded by the FA.
Nice.
And so that answers the question as some of the challenges because now, obviously, I have to go. I don't want to just stop there. I'm planning on going into my UEFA B. So as soon as the course is open, but again, I think they run the UEFA B in this country like once a year. So you can imagine the amount of people applying, and
Yeah.
it's once a year. And obviously, I've looked to do it abroad where it's much cheaper. And like in Spain, they do it 5 times a year. But I don't speak Spanish, unfortunately. I've been on Duolingo trying to learn languages quickly, but I don't speak the languages. So that's in terms of like the football. That's just one of a main challenge. I want to get into my UEFA B, and I want to just progress in terms of like the business. I know exactly where I want to take that, and the challenges are just what the challenges will be. So that isn't much of a concern because they are what they will be. But in terms of because as well as doing the business, I want to be in a club situation. So at the moment, I'm in a club as well, but I want to keep progressing, and I don't want to just stop and be comfortable where I am. If I do get to the UEFA B and like successfully apply for that, successfully pass it, I want to continue moving up. But again, it's difficult because accessibility, especially in England, isn't it's quite scarce. So those are one of the problems. And I guess in general, like other problems with this in terms of life is like just the usual. England is it's quite difficult right now. There's a lot of stuff going
Yeah.
on. Things are expensive. Um, there's a lot of things I'm planning up to get to in the near future, like family wise and these sorts of things. But again, obviously, God willing, all of this stuff will come to fruition very well. So yeah,
Brilliant.
that's pretty much it, man.
Brilliant. And uh, one thing I want to know, because this is something that I've say maybe only picked up in the last 18 months, 2 years, but you seem so driven, which is brilliant to see. Like I love that. Has that always been you, or has it is something that's
No,
mainly only come in the last
no,
whatever period of your
no.
life?
So in the past, there's many different things I've been good at in the past. I've been many different talents, but I've always been stop start. And where I said that I lacked confidence growing up, that kind of played a part. Oftentimes, I used to see validation from others, and where the validation and the success wasn't like what I wanted it to look like, and the validation didn't come from those that I wanted it to come from. I just kind of was stop start, and my life was just a bit just just stagnant, really.
Yeah.
Um, in 2021, I ended up like being quite ill. So I did. The doctors thought I had cancer in my stomach. Thankfully, I didn't, but I had like
Oh,
really large polyps. So they said there's like tumors there, but it wasn't cancerous. Thankfully, during that whole time, so towards the end of that, that's when I kind of went to church, the one I go to now, right? And I was stuck, and I've stuck there ever since because I feel like cool. Then I really like I've always gone to church for my whole life, but then going now, finding Christ now, it kind of really helped me a lot more. And then that's when I realized, okay, I don't need any validation from others or anything like that. And once you're ill and you feel like you're not going to live to see the next birthday, after coming over that, you kind of something switched in my brain. It's like, I'm not living for anybody else anymore because now it's like somehow something like that can go two ways. But for me, it went thankfully went the right way. And it's like,
Yeah.
I know the value of my own life and I know the God given talents I have and I know what I want to do. And I'm not going to care what anyone else thinks. And I'm going to do whatever. Like, I want to take control of my life because in today's day and age, there's so many things we're not in control of. Like, for example, the situation where I'm ill, I couldn't control that. I
Yeah.
can't, like, even they say that, like, driving and is a more dangerous method of transport than being in an airplane. And the reason is because in an airplane, there's one pilot, whereas when you're driving, there's hundreds of thousands of drivers and you can't control them. So there's so many factors. So there's so many things in life we can't control.
Yeah.
There are the many few things in life you can control. And those things you can control, grab hold of them and don't let go. And
Yeah.
that's literally what I've decided to live by. That's why it seems like I'm so driven because at the end of the day, for example, look at from last year, in March last year, I didn't have the idea of doing like my coaching business till now. That year could have passed and I just could have not done it. But that year has passed. The year was going to pass anyway.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
rather, if the time is going to pass anyway, why not just do the things you want to do? Take
Go after it.
control of the very few things that you can take control of. And so, yes, I'd say from like 2022 onwards, um, that's when that's when it first started. And also a funny story about that as well, going back to that same Bible verse. So the first time I started working and getting paid from football wasn't with my one-to-one business. So there's a club that I do coaching for their academy set up as well. First time I started working and getting paid. And the day I didn't realize this until my Snapchat memories reminded me, but the day, my first day on that job where I first ever started getting paid for football was exactly 2 years to the date that I got cleared from the stomach issue in hospital on the exact day.
Wow.
And I didn't know this until I checked my Snapchat memories and I was like, oh, see, 2 years ago today, I didn't think I was going to see the next, but I might have not thought I'd see the next birthday. And here I am now getting paid doing something I love. So, yeah,
Excellent. No, honestly, I think it's amazing where you've come from and the challenges that you've overcome. Like obviously it was well with your health, but one thing I always say is that there's no perfect time just to do
mm,
anything. Like there's no perfect time to start a business. There's no perfect time to whatever ask for a job promotion. There's no perfect time for nothing. Just go and do it now and make it as perfect as you can be. Because, like you said, the year's gonna pass anyway, whether you do it or not. The years,
bro.
the year's gonna be
We're already
there.
in
It's gonna
March
be good.
now. I just realized it's 2 weeks until April. The year's gone by already. Like,
Boom.
bro, the year's gone by already.
There you go. Love it. Right now, honestly, this has been absolutely brilliant. But right, the final question that I
Yeah.
always end up asking everyone, it's not my question, so I have to give credit to the guy, Jack Sweeney Lee. So, what is one thing that you're going to say do over the course of this next week? So just say Tuesday to next Tuesday, if there is one thing that is gonna give you a better chance with your career, with your life? Is there anything that you can think of? Because I know it's so hard to
Yeah.
potentially pigeonhole it, but is there, and maybe is there something in general that you're gonna go and do this week to make
Just
sure?
one thing only.
I know it can be something in general, but not just
Yeah.
one thing might be maybe going into too much detail, but say what are
Yeah.
you going to go do in general this week to make sure you've progressed basically from this week to next week.
So to begin with, give thanks. And that could be give thanks to God and give thanks to those that are around me directly that help me every day and motivate me every day. You have to show appreciation. Because if you don't show the appreciation, you won't really it's difficult to keep going on the good path if you don't show appreciation. So I'd say give thanks. And I guess just keep doing what I'm doing, stay driven. Stay driven. Reach out. One thing I do plan on doing within, let's say, this week is reaching out and trying to organize something a bit different and do something a bit different, a bit more innovative than I have done up till now. So yeah,
No, that's brilliant. Honestly, you have an idea, you have a clear plan. Um, honestly, yeah, absolutely class. And as I say to everyone, what we are going to do, because you talk about a year, so this time we can maybe say like the end of March 2026, we can come back and do a little recap.
yeah,
The
for
next
sure,
year is
man,
gonna
for
go with
sure.
like Zoom. It's gonna fly by, but yeah, we have to catch up, and so much can happen in a year, as you well know, and I think sometimes. Like people nearly need to go through like a really, really bad patch, whether it's physically, mentally,
I
to
think it's
then
present.
realize that you can make so much positive change in your life. But mate, honestly, what a conversation! I can't even tell you the amount of lessons I'm after taking from
Yeah,
you. Absolutely blessing to know you, and well,
thank
honestly,
you,
I can only wish you the very, very best
thank you, man,
with your
thank you,
company, man.
thank you.
But anyway, look, that wraps up this episode 6. So I hope everyone enjoyed it. As always, thanks to my guest. And until next time, yeah, stay driven, keep going. And
Thank you.
yeah, as always, be grateful for who you are, people around you. So thanks, man. Take care.
No worries. Thank you, man. Thank you.